climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and I didn't make it to the top. There, I finally said it out loud. Whew. But I also didn't die. So, like, +2, -1, net positive. This is a story I'm going to tell you about chasing a dream, falling short, and realizing the summit was never the point. It's also a story about how we define success and how we can practice our positive even when things don't go as planned. Hey there, welcome to Practice Your Positive Daily. I am Sass, your host, a failed mountain climber, former championship boxer, executive, blah, blah, blah. But really, I am here. I am here to motivate and inspire and to get you to practice your positive by sharing my own stories and things I've learned along the way. All right, story time. 3 months after my house flooded, the first time, I decided to finally cross a dream off my bucket list, which was climb a mountain. Not metaphorically, but literally Mount Kilimanjaro. So it had been on my bucket list for like 5 years. I didn't even Google it. I did literally nothing about it, but put it on my list of like, oh, I'll climb a mountain one day. But I was out practicing my positive in real life, chatting up strangers, being a goofball, just being my full authentic self when I happened to meet someone who guided climbs. And when she told me that the first day of the trek was my birthday, I was like, boom, universe, done. Here it is. It felt like a triumph before it began. I had prepped, I followed all the packing lists, I bought all the stuff from REI and Patagonia. This was going to be my I made it moment. Especially after the flood and losing so much, this was going to be my triumphant return. Bing, bang, boom, sign, seal, delivered. I got this. I trained, I prayed. I was that crazy girl at the gym with a weight vest and my boots on the incline at like 20%. I worked in my VO2 max. I got all the stuff I needed. I read all these things. I did breath work. I visualized myself on a mountaintop. I said my prayers. I brought my mala beads. It was like a whole thing. I was the oldest person in the group by like a decade, but I was also like the most enthusiastic and the most grounded. Everyone's like, oh, you're doing so great. And all this. And we had all these like chants back and forth, to the top, nonstop, one dream, one team. I believed all of it. I was totally freaking bought in. Sass was going to rock this, like no freaking doubt. And then summit night came. So you actually start at midnight. So you hike all day, then you eat food, which is like okra and chicken and rice and hot chocolate. And you wear 5 layers and you go trek 20 yards to go poop in a rectangular hole, but I digress. So you get to base camp, you sleep for a few hours in the evening, and then you start the climb. You eat dinner at like 10 o'clock, and you actually start the climb to summit at like midnight with like a headlamp and hand warmers and like absolute just shivering courage. Oh, by the way, it was snowing like hard. Also, I live in Florida, so. But anyway, the wind, the cold, the altitude, dude, I could barely breathe. By the time we got to Stella Point, which was like the second highest summit, I was just doubled over on my trekking poles. I was nauseated. I was like open mouth gasping like a fish. I was like breathing because it's so cold through my balaclava. And then I'd like tear it down and like try to breathe and then be so cold, I'd pull it back up. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced, not unmedicated childbirth, not getting punched in the face boxing. Like, I don't know, bonkers. But in that moment at Stella Point, probably for the first time in my life, I let my brain win. I didn't push through. I didn't override what my body said. I chose to stop. Because going up was one thing, but I also had to come back down and I just wasn't sure that I could. And I definitely didn't want to get medevaced out by a helicopter from Kili. Like, how embarrassing and probably how expensive. But as someone who's always measured my worth by achievement, by my degrees, by my titles, it really stung. How do I tell my daughter that I didn't make it and still seem like a role model? How do I justify all the effort, the prep, the money, the time, all that effort with no glory at the top? So here's what I learned. 3 things. One, The summit was just a small part of an otherwise amazing once in a lifetime trip. Dude, it was 14 days. I saw lions and safari like 3 feet from our Jeep. I drank ice cold glass bottled Coke by a pool. I had belly laughs with strangers. Porters carried a chocolate cake. Total strangers carried a chocolate cake up half a mountain so that I couldn't celebrate my birthday. Like, this was a whole thing. And it was all life. It was all the experience. The summit wasn't the reward, the experience was. Point number 2, rest is not failure. And I'm going to say it again for myself. Rest is not failure. This is honestly one of the only times in my life that I didn't push past my physical limits. And honestly, that might have been like the bravest part of all of it. I chose safety over my ego. I listened to what my body literally needed to go on. And that's huge. And number 3 was that I zoomed out. It wasn't just success in the outcome. It was the trying, the trusting, the being there, the training, the memories, the not dying and not getting medevaced off the top of a mountain, right? The big picture was that it was a beautiful experience with a wild range of humanity, right? All of it. So that's it. So zoom out. That was my last big lesson. So listen, if practice your positive means anything, if it means anything, it means you don't need a photo at the top to prove that you're growing. You just need to keep showing up with curiosity, with presence, with courage. It's not about pretending everything's great. It's about choosing that aliveness even when things don't go as planned and not beating yourself up if you don't achieve perfection. It's never about the perfection. It's about the practice. So if you are carrying disappointment for something that you didn't finish or you didn't win, listen, maybe it's you just need to zoom out. It's not maybe the way you hoped, but there's no shame in rerouting. The strength is in showing up. The strength is in trying. That is the success. All right. I love this one. It was my joy to share this with you. If you are in a season where something didn't go as planned, if the big moment didn't look the way you imagined, zoom out, pick one thing that you've been judging as not enough and reframe it as part of your practice. That's the positive of the day. Reframe something that you might see as a failure, as a loss, as a success, as being enough. Give yourself the credit for what you've done. That's the positive of the day. All right. Thank you for listening to Practice Your Positive. If this episode gave you something to think about, to try, to feel, share it with someone who's climbing their own mountain now. If you want more tools to reset your energy or lead from a better place, check out all the free downloads at Practice Your Positive on PayHip. I will link it in the show notes. And until next time, I love you and I will see you at practice. Hey, it's Sass. Before you go away, do me a solid. Hit all those buttons. Subscribe, download, share, and talk to me in the comments. All right, stay in the game and keep practicing your positive. Drink some water, you look thirsty. Did you eat a vegetable today? Did you eat a vegetable yesterday? How about going to the gym? You go to the gym today? Yoga later? Ooh, a little bedtime yoga later?